we different than you guys.
Look at your head.
No, we different than you guys from here.
How are you different from me?
Oh yeah, we different.
How?
We don't do the same thing.
What you mean? So you better?
I'm not saying we better, but
That's no discount.
So basically, you telling me you stealing from the airport?
I'm not stealing. I'm buying paint. That's what I told you. What do you
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Black folks always stealing something. You always.
I'm not black folks. I'm African.
Yeah, that's the same thing. You black.
No, the same thing. We different than you guys.
Look at your head.
No, we different than you guys from here.
How are you different from me?
Oh yeah.
How?
We don't do the same thing.
What you mean? So you better?
I'm not saying we better, but we do different stuff.
Like what? Give me an example.
We do different stuff. We African, we do different stuff.
Give me an example. Like y'all eat rabbits and we eat pigs?
Yeah, hold on. When Obama win, the black folks started this. You know what I told them? I said, no, it's not your win. It's African who win. Believe me. And you better.
Oh, so Obama, you celebrated too?
Of course, Obama is African.
So why they can't celebrate?
Did Jesse Jackson win? He never gonna be able to win. Jesse Jackson, did he win?
You said.
Did he win?
Hold up.
Did
You
he
said
win?
you said we was dancing when Obama won.
Listen, y'all don't act right. Let me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and you do.
No, yeah, that's what Obama win. This doesn't win.
Alright, Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashim El Shai. Double honors to the band that I learned this truth from, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashim El Shai, Barakatham to the hopefully elect. And let's back with this quick video, man. You know, I saw this video and I've been wanting to do a video on it, just a little commentary on it. But you know, with all this stuff that's, you know, going on, you know, and all the studying and research, you know, I just never really had the time to really you know, do a video on it. But you know, Spirit set up to where, you know, I could do it now. But basically, man, you know, because you know, you have this little debate going on between this what appears to be a Jake and this Hamite, all right, and you know, whatever the debate of whatever the debate is about, you know, nevertheless, all right, because you know, your Jake, you know, trying to you know, basically compare us to them, and when I say that, I mean us Israelites, which would be you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, and you know, them, you know, referring to these Hamites, all right, which would be these so-called Africans, all right, which a lot of you Jakes, a lot of you Negroes, so-called Negroes, like to equate yourself, you know, with African American, all right, which, you know, if you have any type of understanding on the Bible, you would know that you know, the Lord put a clear difference between us and them, all right. Again, us being the Israelites, all right, you know, the holy chosen and royal people that the Lord chose and ordained to be, you know, his people, all right. And them again being these Africans, these stinking, dirty, low life Africans, all right, you know, which again, you know, they come out of the line of Ham, all right, and we come out of the line of Shem, because when you go back to the history, reading, going back all the way to Genesis, and you read about Noah after the flood, you read about Noah and his three sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? We would come out of the line of Shem, and you know, the so-called Africans, you know, these Hamites, they come out of the line of Ham, you know, hence the name, the Hamites, all right, you know, and even with that, because you know, people like to argue the point that we all come from Adam, you know, we all come from Noah, you know, so on and so forth, which is true, all right. But again, if you had any understanding of the Bible and the scriptures, you will know that the Lord always had a chosen seed line that he dealt with, all right, even from going all the way back to the time of Adam, all right, because again, you know, we do all come from Adam, but again, even with that, all right, there was always a chosen seed line, all right. And again, when you read about Noah and his three sons, the chosen seed line, you know, being through the line of Shem, which again, you know, the Israelites, you know, we come out of that line, all right, you know, because, you know, again, watching this little debate, you know, he tried to point out the fact that, you know, we're the same people because of, and he tried to equate, you know, the skin color, you know, being that, you know, the Hamites, you know, they're also a dark race of people, all right, but again, you know, having an understanding and the knowledge of the scriptures, knowing that, you know, again, going back to the beginning, for the most part, all nations, it's, some point in time, man, they had, dark skin, all right, melanin in their skin, all right, because that's one thing, being in this ministry, that's one thing that has to constantly be reiterated, is the fact that this is not a thing about skin color, because when you read, when you read about the different, damn, I forgot what it's called, but basically the scattered Israelites, all right, because when our Lord Yahweh Shai comes back, and he's beaming up the elect throughout the different parts of the world, all right, you're gonna have Israelites, you're gonna have members of the elect, 144,000, being beamed out of all nations, all right, because again, being that our people were scattered amongst all the nations, so you're gonna have people that look like so-called Chinese, people that look like so-called white people, all right, so-called Caucasian, so-called Japanese, so on and so forth, being beamed up in the ships, all right, being that again, we were scattered amongst the Israelites, and again, because that's one thing that, has to be constantly reiterated, because this is not a thing about skin color, all right, and you even got, individuals with, dark skin, or so to say, that may be Edomites, that they might be of the other nations, it's vice versa, all right, so this is not a thing about skin color, all right, because again, watching this little debate, you see them, you see the Jake trying to argue the point, us being the same people, because, they try to acquaint it with skin color, and it's not about skin color, but even this guy, all right, this Hamite appears to be an Hamite, even acknowledge the fact that, that we're not the same people, because in fact we're not, all right, even this guy, Nelson Mandela, acknowledged the fact that us and them, all right, we're completely different people, all right. He never acknowledged the fact that, basically he never acknowledged, concerning the so-called African American, these the American Negro, all right. He never equated us to, their people, so to say. All right, because again, even the fact that he knew that we weren't the same people, we're a completely different race of people, and the Lord, like the scriptures say, man, which I'm going to get, but it says that the Lord put a clear difference between us and them. All right, I was just going through some pictures earlier, man, because yeah, you got a lot of Jakes, man, equating themselves to, this whole African American, nonsense and whatnot. They try to, the doctrine that's pushed out there in the world, that pretty much life started in Africa, all right, life originated in Africa, when that's far from the case, all right, because when you read Galatians 4:26, if I'm not mistaken, haven't read that in a while, it tells you that the Jerusalem is the mother of us all right, Jerusalem, Israel is where life started, life originated, it's not Africa, all right, and when you go, going back to Africa, a lot of Jake think that, we started in Africa, they think that's where our roots come from, all right, because being that, the transatlantic slave trade, a lot of the, that's where they pretty much, picked a lot of us up from, and carried our forefathers over here to the western parts of this world, the Americas, Northern, Central, South America, all right. But again, when you read, because like even when Yahushua walked the scene, he told the Jakes, he was telling Jakes to pretty much flee into the mountains of Judea, all right, which would basically be the like the northern and western parts of Africa, like Nigeria and all those parts. And even today, you still got a lot of our people over there. A lot of those so-called Africans, they're not Hamites. They're actually our people. They're Jake, because like when you read stuff about like Bill Gates, how they're constantly, going over there and testing these vaccines and whatnot over there in the western parts of Africa. Those are our people, all right. And they know this. Esau knows this. Even a lot of those Hamites, they know this. All right. This is why, again, because a lot of those Jakes over there in those western parts of Africa, they're catching hell. Because they're our people. In one way or the other, man. If you're of, if you're an Israelite, man, one way or the other, man, these curses, they're going to follow you, all right? But nevertheless, all right, because again, because even before that, pursuant to like when you read in the when you read about, like during the time of the fall of Rome, right? The siege of Jerusalem, 70 AD, right? When a lot of Jakes actually fled to, the western parts of Africa or whatnot. But even before that, all right, because, throughout different points in time in history, you had Jake basically fleeing, for, whatever trouble and whatnot, trying to escape trouble and whatnot. They would, a lot of times they would flee and mix themselves with the Hamites to pretty much blend in. All right, but even with that being said, because Jake just has a certain vibe on him. Jake has a certain swag upon him. All right, because again, the scriptures say that the Lord put a clear difference between us and them. All right, and I was just going through pictures, just going through searching images earlier. All right, because stuff like this, man, this is not our heritage. When you actually have one like this stuff right here, man, this is not our heritage. If it would load. Stuff like this, man. This isn't our people. All right, we're not known for these types of customs. All right, but nevertheless, all right, because Jake, they're persistent on equating themselves with this type of culture, this type of behavior, and this type of nonsense. And again, it's just this just isn't our culture. We don't do stuff like this. We don't drink cow manure and eat cow. Drink cow piss and all that. We for the most part, we don't do this stuff. This isn't of our culture, And Jake stays trying to equate themselves to this, and this ain't us. All right. And again, because they know this, the nations know this, the real Africans, the Hamites, they know this. All right. And this is why a lot of them will even admit the fact, like going back to the clip that I played, that they're not our people. They'll admit it, that they're not our people. All right, so let me get this. Hopefully, I still have it saved up. If not, I'm gonna have to look for it. It's definitely in Exodus. No, I think that's Exodus 11. Exodus 11 and 7, I think. Yep. Exodus 11 and 7, it says, "But against any other children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." All right, and again, being the Egyptians, those Hamites, all those Egyptians, those Philistines, Canaanites. All right, they're all those African Hamitic tribes. They all come from him, and we come out of the line of Shem. All right. And like I just read here, man, the Lord put a clear difference between us and them, because we're not the same people. All right. Just go through this real quick. Because again, concerning not just Ham, but all these other nations, man, they were created to be servants. All right. And just like the other nations, the nation of Ham, all right, all these Hamitic tribes, they're going under slavery. They're going to be put in slavery in the kingdom. All right. But let me read this starting at verse 1. Deuteronomy 7:1. It says, "When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou." And these are all Hamitic nations. All right. These are all so-called African tribes and whatnot. All right. It says, "And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son." All right. So concerning these Hamitic nations, we're not even supposed to be mixing and mingling, because for one thing, the Lord is against interracial marriages. All right. And especially when it comes to these stinking, disgusting, low-life Hamites, all right, we definitely damn sure ain't supposed to be making no type of covenant with them. All right, taking their daughters in and basically mixing our royal seed with their defiled seed. All right. Now, granted, because we are going to have concubines in the kingdom. All right. But nevertheless, man, especially, like now, man, we're not, not supposed to be, uh, mixing and mingling and doing all that type of nonsense, especially with these Hamitic nations. All right, because we read on verse 4 says, "For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly." So you see, all right, because for one thing, man, when you look deeper into, because for one thing, concerning Esau, man, he's not an originator. All right, he doesn't come up with anything on his own. Pretty much everything that Esau does is pretty much all, what's the word? Plagiarized. All right, it's all copyrighted. All right, and that includes even these false gods and worship that they worship. It all basically goes back to Canaan. All right, Canaan. Because this was during the time. A lot of this stuff that's being worshipped today. This is why America is spiritually known as Egypt. All right, because a lot of the stuff that they worship today, man, it all goes back to what they were doing in ancient Egypt and whatnot. All right, that's like another topic, man, because it's deep, man. Getting into the topic of what they worship today and what was going on during ancient Egypt, it's deep, man. It's a hell of a lot of stuff, man. It seems like a never-ending topic. All right, but nevertheless, even the pagan worship that goes on today, it all goes back to these like when you read about Nimrod. All right, Nimrod was a so-called African. All right, he was a Hamite. All right, and again, that's why a lot of this stuff, like they go to church on these Christians. They go to church on Sunday. And when the sun worship and all that stuff, that stuff goes back to Nimrod. All right, so all this stuff goes back to what these Canaanites, what these Hamites worship. All right. Let's jump down to the point, verse 6. It says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth." So it's not just Ham, all right? All these nations, the Lord created us to be better than all these other nations. It's not just Ham, all right? Because like I said, when it comes to like interracial marriages and things of that nature, man, we're not supposed to be mixing and mingling with these other nations, but that definitely, especially these Hamites, all right? And you just look at what's going on today, how Jake is so indulged in all these false gods today. Basically, man, it all goes back to these Hamites, all right, and the ancient practices that they worshipped back in the ancient world. All right, but nevertheless, all right, because the Lord did create us, because for people who don't know, man, the Lord is a separatist. All right, the Yahweh Shem Shai, which Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who you would call God, and Yahweh Shai being the name of who you would call Jesus, right? His only begotten Son. They are both separatists and they're both racists. All right, to put it in clear-cut terms, all right, Yahweh Shem Shai, they're both racists and they're both separatists. All right, because the Lord did create one people to be a special people above all these other nations. All right, which that would be the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites. All right, which again, they come out of the line of Shem. All right, and again, going back to these Hamites or these so-called Africans, they come out of the line of Ham. All right, so the Lord definitely chose us to be a different species compared above all these other nations. So going back to this debate, man. This Hamite, if he is a Hamite, because he could be a Jake, because that's the thing. Like I said, it's not a thing about color, it's not a thing of appearance. All right, the scriptures say the spirit bears witness of itself. So judge based we judge based off the spirit, but just for the fact that he again, because he could be a Hamite, he could not, but nevertheless, all right, just going back to this debate, all right, this Hamite, he's absolutely correct. We're not the same people. And even this guy, like I said, this guy Nelson Mandela, man, he even mentioned that fact. All right, he even knew and understood the fact we're not the same people. So just a quick something. Hopefully this was edifying. And once again, let me give all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And until next time, Lord's will, I say shalom.